Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will begin shortly. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, the next session will begin shortly. Please take your seats.
SK, SK, SK. Could you ask the people outside to come in, please? Yeah, yeah, great, thank you. Hello, everyone. Oh, gee, you guys are asleep. You didn't get a shot of caffeine. All right, great. So, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start the closing panel discussion session. All right, and this will go for probably around about 40 minutes. Okay, let me introduce you to the next moderator for the closing panel discussion. Okay, so we have John Cap Kim, who's the CEO of Global Digital Innovation Network. Again, I stress that GDIN used to be Born Global up until August 31st. All right. As of September 1st, it's GDIN, right? Yes. Okay. So John Cap, please come to the podium and moderate your session.
It's a long day, isn't it? And very hot. Yeah, that's me. I think that's the 6 years ago me. I was young and still young. It's a long day, and thank you for participating. All very hot, the pitching and discussion. And I think you know something. There are many good ideas, and especially this year, we have 7 countries participation. I think it's very happy. Last year, it was 2 or 3 countries, and I hope next year, minimum 20 countries. So finally, meanwhile, we judging, collect the score. I want to wrap up how's the company's pitching and what will be apply these kinds of great idea, something like that. And we want to invite some special, panelists. So just I just invite him, right? Right. So first is Sean Kim, and the director of the strategic investment unit, LGU Plus. Is he here? Here? Yeah. And the second panelist is Dario Betty, CEO of Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Thank you. And third is Ryo Umezawa, partner of Antelope Japan. Yeah, could you come up? Yeah. And the fourth, panelist is Takashia Ohira, head of Asia region, Deloitte Venture Support. And last is John Song, representative partner of Green Tech Transformation Lab. So we have a 16 company today, and 4 sector, like AR, ML, and cognitive city, and life tech, and ESG and sustainability. And we have 7 countries, different countries background in startup. I think they are very different stage and something like that. So before I get your feedback or your proposal or your suggestion, I want to, how about you introduce your company or yourself to the audience first? And Sean, you first.
Oh, sure. Nice to meet you all. I'm Sean Kim. I'm the head of strategic investment division of LGO Plus. LGO Plus is one of 3 major telcos in Korea. KT, which hosted this conference, SKT, and LGO Plus. So LGO Plus, we have second largest paying TV subscribers in Korea, and we have third largest mobile subscribers in Korea as well. Also, we have big corporate customers. The LGO Plus is network providing company. We have around 1.5 billion US dollar revenue coming from the corporate side. So we are providing network and telecom services to corporates, internet as well. And so I work for the investment division. I have been working this division for 5 years. I'm doing M&As, investing in startups as well. Also participating in a bunch of VC funds as well. It was really impressive of your 16 companies presentation. You did a great job. I was really impressed. Thank you very much.
Dario?
And I'm Dario Betti. I'm the CEO of the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. The Mobile Ecosystem Forum is an association similar to the GSMA, which is our partner. We like the word collaboration, don't we? So we collaborate with GSMA. We're slightly different as we tend not to represent any single stakeholder in the industry. We are a place for everybody to come and join. So we have mobile operators, but we have banks coming together. About 20% of them also are startups. And everybody trying to find different ways to approach and get the great potential of mobile as we have today. And I have seen a lot of potential of mobile today. And it was exciting. It just shows that this is just the beginning of something very big. So that was very good. Thanks for the great show you put it for all 16 companies. Thank you very much.
How about Mr. Omizawa?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryo Mizawa. I represent Antler. We're a global venture capital fund investing in people from day zero. So what we do is we have we're in 24 countries, 28 cities. What we do is we attract over 110,000 entrepreneurs every year. They apply to our cohort, which is the best 1,000 entrepreneurs to invest in. And they form about 500 companies. And what we do is we have a 10-week cohort program that we do the co-founder matching. We match CEOs, CFOs, CSOs, CTOs, and et cetera, to really form an idea in 10 weeks. And then we make the investment, and then we do follow-on investment until Series C. So we're a global investor where we invest from day zero, which is in people for the first 10 weeks. And then we make financial investment and do follow-on investment until Series C. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. How about Ohira?
Yeah, everyone. Hi, everyone. So thank you for having me today. So my name is Ohira from Deloitte Tomatsu Venture Support. That company is a venture support, like a startup support arm in Deloitte, Japan. So we are supporting the 4 angles. So first one is supporting startup, mainly fundraising things and market expansions. So if you guys interested in the Japanese market or getting fundraising from the Japanese investors, so please let me know. And so second line is we are supporting the large corporation on the Open Innovation Initiative. The third line is supporting the government. So we are supporting the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and economy of the embassy in Japan. So we have the many public projects in Japan. So fourth line is that we are making the open innovation platform ourselves. That's called Morning Pitch. So we launched the Morning Pitch in 2013 in Japan. This year is the 10th anniversary for Morning Pitch. We are expanding the Singapore and the Singapore version and the India also, and the Indonesia, Vietnam. The last year we launched the Korea versions, Morning Pitch Asias. We do the quarterly basis in Koreas. Please, if you have interested that event, so that purpose is make collaborate with the startup and the large corporation. Yeah, that's all my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Song.
Hi, I'm John Song. I'm pretty honored to be a part of this panel with excellent panelists here. I am a representative partner for Green Transformation Lab. And at the same time, I'm a strategic director for a blockchain and climate institute in the UK. Before making my own company, I was working at Green Climate Fund in Songdo, the UNFCCC finance mechanism here. To tell you a little bit of background of myself, I wanted to be a poet when I was at high school. And I participated in the extracurriculum activity with my friends, and I wrote some poems, you know. And then my literature teacher was reading them and then threw them away. So I gave up to be a poet. But that aspiration still remains through my whole life. And one poet that I loved so much when I was in high school, he told me, there is 2 riches, coming up to the peak of truth. The one slope is science. The other slope is poetry. So it means all the scientific or engineering or technology efforts should be combined or can be combined with the imagination of artists, especially poets. Sometimes you see poets tell some things that are very different from what you see normally. So I wanted to see the poetic leadership out of all these 16 companies who presented excellent business ideas and solutions. I found some, but I will tell about that when we are in a real serious discussion.
Wow, that's why we always a headache on the ESG. He came from ESG area, so totally different angle. Okay, then let's talk about today's company. So I think all these 5 panelists has a different background and a different industry, investment or consultation or telecommunication, even the ESG area, green. So reverse, Mr. Song first. Yeah. Do you think overall the capacity and the level of our companies after you're hearing the pitching, and then do you like even one of the 16 company, any company?
Actually, I like them all. Technology-wise, business model-wise, every company has big, huge potential. But what the poetic imagination I told you is related with finding some values. And I tried to see those values, the fundamental values, deeper and at the same time higher values that we have to pursue. I think that's trust, transparency, and integrity. And I try to see if those companies are aiming at those higher values or something other which is big or grand again. For example, Z Crypto showed a really good example of trust, transparency, and integrity. And as well, Rockpit Healthcare, Shumelo, and Recircle, and Elephant Tech. And actually, Elephant Tech showed a really great example of poetic aversion from normal thinking. So you created very similar technologies, but from a really different angle. So I think this kind of pivoting a little bit from the ordinary thinking and the legacy thinking gives you a big difference. So I would like to congratulate all those 16 companies who presented today, and I hope that you all make unicorns. But being unicorn is not so important as you pursue really good values that can make these societies much, much better and fight against the climate change and climate crisis. Thank you.
Thank you. So you do very good homework today. And I'm very happy to hear about different angle of your chart. Okay, then about Ohira.
Yeah. So I today I received many impressions from the grade 16 startups, and we are many evaluations contents. But I feeling every startups speakers having the social good. What is a social good point? That's a very important angle for me. So today I focusing on the lead circles that I visited India many times. So I feel in the that problems, waste problems. So I respect that activities for the in India, and so their activities are expanding to the all over the world. I think. The one more thing is the Bionesia. Yeah, that I feel in the more early or Series A. I'm not sure about that, but that's a very early stage, I think. But now is very huge waste and huge problem things. Recycle, the reuse for the energy and the gas, the changing that point is very important. Yeah, I feel in the other countries, some other country is the same problem happened. So they two startups is we are loving the personally, but evaluation is different.
Right, right. Thank you. How about Nick?
So I wouldn't name names because I run a venture capital, but I was very interested in two companies. And I think when startup pitches, like we get a lot of pitches and we help entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs and serial entrepreneurs come up with ideas and really brainstorm. There's two patterns where some startups are creating a problem when there's no problem out there. And another is, they're tackling a problem that it's solvable and then needs to be solved, and also looking at a very scalable point of view. And these two startups was really solving a problem and has the global market potential of scalability. And I think go to action on their operational strategy was, so as far as I saw on the pitch, sounded great. So sooner or later I will come to you and say hello. So yeah, this is, maybe it's a harsh comment for 2 out of 16, but that's reality because some companies can pursue and really progress, whereas in the middle, if you're doing a better to have action items, it tends to be taken over, for example, by the bigger players. So really my message is have the real pain to solve and have the operational skill set to really tackle the problem, even the bigger players comes in later.
Right. I don't know who's the two company, but I congratulate in advance. First. This is that's all. Investor has interest in two company. So our pitching session is done. Right. Thank you for saying that. How about Dario?
I have to admit that at the beginning, I was concerned because my grading was very high, and I thought, what happens if? But I could not put myself to say this is medium. So I was really impressed through a lot of those. And you're always dealing with the challenge of doing 8 minutes, something that should be done in the longer term. So well done on all of that. There are two of them that I thought they were surprising me, and surprising for the way the problem was articulated, and that they're different. One is a known and very telecom solution, which I should feel close to my heart. I think it was Papaya, which presented the view of internal locations, great commercial opportunity. Something's been there, something with lots of competitions, but it really sounded great. And that's where my comfort zone is. It was not my comfort zone, and I was surprised, but and against the horrible picture that I've seen, the rocket and health was showing such an important, human tissues creations, and also very smart implementations with tools for the visual, the VR, the taking of the picture itself, where all the mobile technologies we've seen right now, with the very big printing machines for fat, etc. So all of that seems to have been taken in two different perspectives. Very interesting. I say one less telecommunications. But well done to all of those. I have to admit, most of the times I look at all of these thinking, what happened if, which is my versions. Mobile, the 20 history of our community, which is ours a community, has seen some very big multi-billion-dollar company coming from nothing. All of those, including, I think, Twilio, Dow Zones, and a few others, there were small companies coming through our ranks, and nobody knew at the beginning. But they had to change dramatically through their life. And my first thinking to all of you is, what happened if? And I think a lot of you seem to point it out on some of that. You were thinking about alternatives. That was very good, by the way. But I wish you all of the resilience to be able to change a bit if things go slightly different.
Thank you. How about Sean?
If you look at Korean telecom market, it's not growing much. Actually, like 10 years ago when we first deployed LTE network in Korea, I remember that the service revenue of three telcos, LGU Plus, our service revenue increased by 12%, 2-digit. Maybe some of you think it's slow, but if you look at the size of the telecom revenue, it was like amazing. But I just look up the last year's revenue growth, it was 3%. Even though we deployed 5G network, people are not think 5G is that fast anymore, like 4G. So, and this year I think the revenue will not as much as 3%. So we are seeking for new growth. Every telco does. KT, SKT, LGU Plus, all the telcos with a lot of revenue. We are seeking for new growth. So that's the reason that we are focusing on solutions, especially for B2B SaaS areas and smart factory solutions, and also the new services such as healthcare services. So for two verticals, I was really interested in those two verticals, and all the companies was really amazing. I want to talk to you guys more as going forward. So last year, the LGU Plus, we announced that we want to be the platform company, and we want to change to be the platform company. We used to provide, we used to be a pipeline provider, just providing internet, telecom services. But afterwards, we want to provide some solutions as going forward. So to do that, actually, we don't have that technology. We are a big company, but we are not that nimble and we are not that fast. So we have to collaborate with the startups. That's the reason that we try to invest in startups and make alliance with startups. So it was really nice hearing from you guys, and I hope we have further opportunities as going forward.
Thank you. Well, we are talking about the good thing for the company, and I want to talk about the more different opposite angle of the feedback. Is there any more improvement point or some advice? If you picked some company and the detailed example is much more welcome. If you're not comfortable, then overall, it can be more good if they changing something. Then could you give me a feedback? So starting from the Sean, sorry.
Well, it's always hard to say something like that. Because I hear a lot of IRs and pitches all the time from many companies and startups, and many times their ideas are good, but maybe it's not easy to execute those business says. Maybe it's because lack of resources, because of circumstances. Many times they really work hard, but it's the environment that makes them can't scale up. So actually I don't have any.
Okay, accepted.
So yeah, you guys are great. Yeah.
Accepted. Then I'm gonna change my question. From the Silicon Valley through the Korea, all different world now have very struggle because of economic situation, especially in the startup area. Investment side is very rapidly reduced, so much. So early stage or the company is very difficult to getting fund. So do you have any recommendation to prepare this kinds of recession as a startup investment viewpoint? How they can survive? Any other tip or some advice? John Song first.
Oh my. Thank you for the question. Actually, I had some few comments on each individual business, and I will add a comment related to your question. The first one is about the Recircle, actually, which is a really good business model, and actually, which is very much needed for fighting climate change. But the whole business model didn't show, you presented model today, didn't show how the people can get engaged into the cycle of this circular business. And I'm from Canada, so in Canada, for example, we have a bottle depots, so where they collect all the plastic bottles and they deliver them to the manufacturers and any other persons, stakeholders who are interested in. And then we get some pennies, like $1, $2 for each 10 bottles. So it is a very stable business model already. But I couldn't see the similar business model out of your Recircle. So I would like to recommend you to look into that one. And then the important thing you have to consider is that how you would classify all the different plastic waste into recyclable categories, and how you to value those plastics to compensate anyone who brings the bottle or the plastics. And the bioinertia, which is another very important one for climate fight. And when I heard cow dung, it so refreshed me. I love the word dung, not manure. And actually, this one is, again, didn't include the farmers and herd farms and so forth into the cycle of this business model. So I would like to see how the farmers and those ones who take care of all the cattle can get benefit out of this business cycle. Then this business model will make it much stronger. I'm a more romantic person, so I'm not like the investors. Because I made many pitches and none of them was successful in front of investors. And I felt, oh, they are so ignorant. And they are so subjective. So eventually, I'm looking back all my history of my business, I realize and I think, wow, it's really, really hard to satisfy all those people sitting in the evaluation panel for your business pitch. But regarding the elephant tech, you spent 6 years to make the technology complete, ready for the market. It's just like Edison testing 10,000 different ways of making electric bulb. So who can say you will be successful and you will not be successful? It's not on other people's eye, but yourself, you know. So I would like to encourage more than criticize that you do your best, continue your effort. And then maybe he chose only 2, maybe I choose 8 or 10. So hopefully you could make the cut. Thank you.
Very poetic critique and feedback, right?
I want to add. So basically, Antler is all about the people. So we invest in people. So I believe we're the most loving venture capital out there because we spend 10 weeks. Usually, the venture capital will spend 3 hours, 10 hours and make an investment, whereas they spend 400 hours in our office. We spend 100 hours with them face to face, either with me or the team, and we really work on the the business model together, which is the investment that we make through our cohort program. And we also sometimes do external deals. And in that case, I still work with the founder on building the business, getting the clients, and also in regards to your question about, okay, so what does the startups do in recession time? Most recently, the company I had a very difficult discussion with was that because they were missing the KPIs for the business plan that they have created, yes, there's many difficulties in the world, and the plans always change, and you got to pivot. However, I told them if they don't have the enough traction, they have to figure out to kind of secure a runway at least 12 months, 16 months, and they do have that runway. So they were kind of restructuring on what is there to do, rather than just focusing on titles of their like COO or head of operation. You got to be kind of open-minded and kind of do a big rotation. This is usually for large enterprises, but I believe having to kind of move the resources around and come up with ideas, think outside the box, and then also considering of the runway that they have, and really telling everyone, the teammate, that what needs to be done. Some members said they're not the highest executive in the company. It's like, I don't need to get paid if you guys don't have money. And we're like, no, we do have, but we just need a collaboration. So having to really consider like the KPIs, and also, being a hard investor, we might say, hey, you have to work on the cost, but it's really about open and sharing with the whole team to really focus on one goal to achieve if the market is not ready. And I always believe that you should always talk to the investor that has entrepreneur experience. In Japan, many of the venture capitals are run by a bunch of salarymans who doesn't want to take risk because they don't want to lose their job or they want to be conservative. In my case, I've done 2 of my own startup, serve as CEO and country manager, and being also seconded as a fund to operate. So, come to Antler. We are in 28 cities.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. For the startup, setting the KPI and keep the KPI little by little, one by one. So theoretically, it's very natural and reasonable, but in reality, they are very busy. Keep tracking, and they have so many tackle different KPI coming up from outside. So I think that's very good comment how we maintain our companies from the culture and trend, keep promising each other like a one by one. Thank you.
And also, acceleration and brakes are important. So some part, if you think it's going to work out, just press accelerator. That's why the venture capital is invested in you. And for places that you think you should stop, you just stop everything and rethink about it.
Thank you. How about the Ohira?
Yeah. So
Skip that.
I'm not investors, so I'm focusing on the ecosystem supporters goal. So we are supporting the many Japanese corporate venture capital, salaryman venture capital, right? So we are supporting the many corporate venture capitals. So Japan is still not effective, is so limited because the interest is very lower, still lower, stable. So now is the Japanese government corporate venture capital is very interested in the investment, very active. And so, the Japanese government is decided that 5 years startup supporting initiatives. Last year is the first year. This year is the second year. They spend a very big grant, not only Japanese startup, overseas startup coming to the Japan and establish the office, hiring the Japanese people. They are providing the many grants.
Good to know that.
Yeah. That's a chance. And this year is very increasing for the request for me. So enter the Japanese market and the fundraise from the Japanese corporate venture capitals. Now is a chance. So because good to bad and bad, Japan is still stable. So still stable. That's a very good chance for the market, I think.
I heard the Japan economy is so hot right now, right? Not stable. It's very hot every day. Okay, thank you. How about Daria? Yeah.
2 comments on the what could have been better, and something on what to do in case of. Okay, so very quickly, maybe the first comment is some of you might have put a bit more of data, and some of you did. Some of them we did not have some of the numbers, and it's a question of trust. And it's difficult to imagine here to go and talk to everybody and have that trust. But that's, fair enough. But that's also how you win people sometimes. It's a bit of a gamble. The second part, which is very similar to what we heard before, is about ecosystems and collaboration really make a difference. And when you talk to about who else you can, name and refer to, you probably should also say what you do with them, how you create value, because that's really added a bit more. You got somebody here, great name, supports. What do you do with them? That's the first question that comes to mind is, how do you create more value by being together? How, is it just that they like you? That's great, but sometimes they forget about you.
Like just, PowerPoint is very small place to fill it up to the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that out of the old stories that you got, and you got some great stories, you need to have friends, which is back to a third point, which is what happens when things don't go so good. Now, when you're already part of an ecosystem, when you're part of something else, people cannot forget about you. If you can show how you're already making a stride with others in them, then you've got a safety net, and that does help. And that's very difficult because everything at the beginning is about you and your company first. And you have to prove who you are, etc. But soon, especially if you want to become the long term, you have to be meaning something to a lot of other people. And that's where, in some of your presentation, by the way, well done, you could see that that was already working as well. And yes, the time are difficult, but as I was saying before, and as we heard it, if anything, pivot, change. Change is your great key. Nobody asks you to stay the same. Just consider what else you could do today, what you have for tomorrow.
Thank you. Sean? Yeah.
Well, usually when the market is really good, I really envy the VC side, like Antler. Whenever we go to some startups and we ask for the investment, oh, we want to invest in your company, and they say, okay, I don't need your company's money. We just want the money from the VC side, because sometimes big corporates, they ask some collaboration with the startups. But when the market is bad, I think it's good for the startups to collaborate with the big companies. And so I think it's kind of an opportunity for strategic investors like me. So this market, maybe VCs and startups, you guys maybe feel bad, but for me, I think it's an opportunity to invest in good, great companies like you guys. So like Humelo, they are working with KT, so I envy Humelo as well. KT is our competitor, so hard to talk to him, but just kidding, just kidding. But so I think in this kind of bad economic situation, I think working with the SI is one of option, I guess, because we have thousands of corporate customers and we have 50 million B2C customers. So if you guys collaborate with big telecom companies like us, you can provide your service throughout our network and throughout our distribution channels. So please consider SI investments.
Thank you so much. And before we proceed to the last question, I didn't share my question earlier before we met each other. So today, I'm sorry to bother you. It's a very ugly question. Last question is, okay, we heard about all the good feedback or some encourageable feedback. Everything is okay. But what else? This is GSMA and GDIN set the structure, AI, ML, ESG, this sector. What other sector you are looking for as an investor or some supporter? Then share that your personal or company-wise direction and closing remark by Tan. So, Mr. Umezawa, you first.
So as previously mentioned, we are all about the people because we're investing from day zero till Series C. So it's all about if the founder has passion, the problem is there, how to solve, and they have the operational skill set. as well as the passion to really achieve something is what we look at. So we accept any industry as long as they are really strong and energetic to accomplish anything. We don't ask about the age. We have people from, we've invested in people in 80 nationalities. 30% of them are women co-founders, and 40% of companies are ESG and impactful companies. 15% are impactful, climate companies. So really, we're very broad. And so at the end of the day, I've been saying from the beginning, startup is all about the execution. So please work on really building the business and working with your investors and really working with the team to reach the goal that you want to achieve by just getting the execution done and pushing forward. Thank you.
Thank you. How about Dario?
Lovely themes we've seen today. Others we will usually cover. Conversational commerce, which is using messaging for business applications. WeChat has opened up the doors, but there's much more that can be done. I would say identity and authentication, which is the internet is great because nobody knows who you are, but that's also why the internet is so bad at the same time. You need to know who the other people are, who that company is, etc. So that's one of the central issues for the next generation of the internet. The third point, which is a nice one, is the future of content. So much is changing in content, and especially on the mobile and how we approach it. I think we also have a fourth, which is a bit more generic at the moment, but we do like it a lot, which is how we collaborate company to company, which probably, again, needs to change a lot. It's more of a business-to-business activities that we do. And it's like talking about API and other things. And I think those are the four that we currently look on top of the one you have.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hoira?
Yeah, thank you. So first, my role is, my role is head of the Asia regions. So we cover the not industry, so like a region covers. So we are focusing on the various regions and the cover of the last year is a Wave 3 things. It's booming, and this year is a generative AI. That's also my official work. But individually, I'm very interested in the fintech areas. So financial service is very, how to say, I'm very emotional and so deep. I would like to learn the deep understanding things. So my life work is fintech startups supporting that. Yeah, that's my.
Thank you so much. Sean, could you?
Okay, so like smart factories and B2B SaaS area is one of our focusing area for now, and healthcare services as well. And also we, as I said before, that LGO Plus, we announced that we want to be the B2C service platform company as going forward from the just pipeline company. So we are seeking a lot of B2C service companies to acquire and invest. Also, the AI is definitely the important part that we are looking for. You know, our corporate customers, they want the AI solutions as going forward. So we are keep finding those solutions, and KT already invested in many companies, and we are finding the right partners. You know, it's going forward. So those two areas we are going to focus as well.
Thank you so much. Mr. Song?
Yeah, I would like to encourage everyone to look into the next phase of technology development, including digital transformation. And somebody started calling Web 3.0, where individual persons can be centers of businesses and finances and actions. I have been seeing the integration of technologies between green, industrial, and digital, and fintech, and legacy ICT. So I think this integrating all these technologies toward the solutions that are needed for the world now will be a really important area. For example, the wildfires in Hawaii, wildfires in Canada, heat waves in China, floods in Pakistan, everywhere, the climate disasters are happening now. So we cannot ignore that. So one of those things that we can do to prevent all those disasters and encourage the whole global community to move forward in the action to fight against the climate changes is that we need to have a really crispy, clear mechanism to measure where those carbon dioxide is coming, how we are acting on it, how effective is our action against carbon dioxide and GHG. It's called digital MRV, or climate information and early warning system. So I'm encouraging you to look into those business areas using your solutions even to find out what solutions you can develop out of what you have already to solve immediate global problems. I think we have to be more ambitious and brave in tackling those problems. That's my final comment.
Thank you so much. I hope that Mr. Song, today you find out the carbon MRV perfect solution here over here. Yeah. Oh, this is our last question to the panelists. Thank you for attending and sharing your knowledge and experience. I think it will be very helpful to our 16 company. One more adding, just several minutes ago, I just closed my eyes and tried to hear all different 16 companies, pitching. I cannot distinguish where it came from. Japan, Indonesia, or Singapore, Korea, I don't. So I think to make the collaboration, we need first delete perception. With the startup and the knowledge sharing and the great idea formation, I think that we need to collaborate. With the LGU Plus, a big help, it's a big brother, and the venture capitalist help. So then we can extend more bigger market and more big benefit for the human being. So this is, I think, the GSMA's main goal. So over the telecommunication, the infrastructure, how we deploy all your different great ideas to make better our life. Thank you for attending, and good job, all 16 startups. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. How was it, everyone? Good? But everyone say quiet. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long bloody day, right? But we actually have the results from the pitch sessions. And so do we have any background noise, please? Background music? No? Yeah. Yes, that's great. All right, so who do you reckon won? Who do you reckon won the, which startup do you think won this AI ML vertical? Any suggestions? Is that crypto? Oh, really? Okay. Okay. What about intelligent cities? No? Intelligent cities. Which company do you think?
iRobotics, dwelling? No? You guys aren't opinionated, are you? Yeah? Come on, come on. What about life technology? Aquirai? Okay, cool, cool. ESG? ESG? Elephant tech? Maybe. All right. So let's we'll definitely go into this. Now, first of all, can I actually have John Cap, Julian, up on the stage, please? Jin. First, we really do appreciate the fact that the 16 startups, okay, you guys participated in this showcase. And first of all, we'll definitely give out certificates of recognition, okay, in this showcase. So, if you want to just pass it on, I'll just. Okay. So first, I'd like to invite LSM. Okay. And do we have photographers? Fantastic. LSM, certificate of recognition, please. Okay. Yep. On that side. Yep. Oh, you got half each. Okay. Half each. John Cap, don't be greedy, mate. Great. Next, can we have Papaya, please? Papaya. Okay, next, ITNJ, please. Okay, next, Z Crypto, please. Okay, great. Okay, John Cap, change, please. All right. Next, iRobotics, please. Next, dwelling, please. Next, all the way from Indonesia, run system, please. And next, Rosetta Tech, please. Yeah, great. Okay, change over, Jules. John Cap, you're back in. Next, Rocket Healthcare, please. All right, next, the Swedish Aquirai, please. Next, Health on Cloud. Next, Humelo, please. Tag team. All right, tag team. Next, Deaf Talk. Come on, guys, come on. Woo! Next, all the way from India, Recircle. Next, Elephant Tech. The lucky last, all the way from Indonesia again, Bionersia. Yeah. Great, fantastic. Well, congratulations again, because you guys were shortlisted from a whole lot of startups that applied for this. Okay. So next thing, I just want to go through how we went about judging. Okay. So okay. So the Innovative Tech Showcase judging criteria were based on 5 criteria. Okay. And they were technology innovativeness, business model, global business capability, product market fit, and team and HR resources. Okay, and based on that, we actually had the judging panel from, of course, we had Zaif from NTT, Jackson Bay from Salesforce, Anders Risky from Invra, Dario Betty from MEF, Teddy Sum from Huawei, Sean Kim from LG Invest, right? Sorry, Sean. Okay. Ryo Umezawa, Takahisa Ohira, and John Song. So we had 10 judge panel, and we collated all the scores from these 10 people, and then came up with the following winners. So, the Innovative Tech Startup Awards, the winner for Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, who do you think it is? No drum roll? Okay. ITNJ. Go. Congratulations, ITNJ. So you get a choice between MWC Las Vegas or MWC Shanghai, okay? Pass. All right. Next, the winner for Intelligent Cities. Who do you think it is? Come on, you guys are really quiet. No? All right. Dwelling. Whoa! Well done, Dwelling. The winner for Life Technology. Rocket? Really? Wow, man. I think maybe you're a psychic, man. All right. No. Health on Cloud. I'm just joking, okay? Congratulations, Health on Cloud. Great. Okay, winner for ESG sustainability. Okay, drum roll. Elephant Tech. Congratulations, Shinya. All right, so we've given out the awards for the top startup from the 4 verticals, right? And before I actually explain that, out of the four winners, there's going to be the grand prize winner. But we've changed our minds to be a little more fair, because I mean, you can't have one startup taking 2 prizes, right? Yeah. So we thought it'd be better to actually have, for example, whichever vertical it came from. Okay. The second, pardon me, the winner becomes the guy with the startup with the highest score gets the grand prize. Whichever vertical they came from, the second person gets the vertical startup winner. Did that make sense? No, it didn't. Pardon me. Okay. All right. Okay. Pardon me. All right. So if it was live technology, okay, and there were two winners, pardon me, first and second, but the first one had the overall best score, became the overall winner, okay, but the second from live technology became the winner of the live technology vertical. To be a little more fair, right? I mean, there's enough, there's enough inequality in this world anyway, right? Okay, guys, the grand prize. Who do you reckon? Who do you reckon? Come on. Any guesses? Rocket? All right, here we go. Rocket Healthcare! Congratulations! So Rocket Healthcare, grand prize winner of the DX Acceleration Summit Innovative Tech Showcase. Congratulations. So Rocket Healthcare, you'll be given a pass to attend Mobile World Congress Barcelona. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah. All right, that pretty much concludes the DX Acceleration Forum, Summit. Pardon me. Now, it's 5 minutes to 5. I know that everyone's been concentrating, absorbing in all the information. You've absorbed too much information. It's about time you started absorbing some alcohol, maybe some drinks, okay? So, network over drinks, here we go. So, we will be moving from after closing this summit over to the Koreana Hotel, which is about a 10-minute walk from here, okay? And GDIN has graciously, okay, sponsored the actual networking drinks on the rooftop bar, okay? So, please walk over slowly, and it will be from 5:30 until 8:30, and there will be a lot of people going not only from here but from mobile operators and so on. So it'll be a good opportunity for everyone to network and talk business and also have a great drink, okay? Because it is the second day, and let's finish off the M360 with a bang. But before, last comments from GDIN and Julian. Okay, John Cap first.
It was very exciting and fun. That's why I feel every year young. And you do a good job, and it's very hard time to flow all the way from Indonesia and India, different country, and having some together. And we have a great time today. And in the rooftop, and at the rooftop, you can watching the old Gyeongbok Palace and the former, White House, Korea Blue House is moving to a different place, but you can watch all that kinds of area, and then it's not an easy place. It's very, very difficult to rent out, yeah, because of scenery. And please join that and share your experience more, and having some great opportunity to do business together. Thank you for coming here. Thank you.
I'll be quick because it's a 10-minute walk to the bar. I didn't get the chance to sit here all afternoon and see the switches, but I was struck by the almost unanimous selection of Rocket in Johnny's asking the audience. So I did get to see the short selection earlier, and I know, while mobile operators are not known for being the most engaging when it comes to innovation and the digital ecosystem, it's events like this that help bring us together. And I know this is Friday afternoon, and you guys have been here for a long day. I appreciate that. I thank John Cap and GDIN for providing the support for this event and being our innovation partner. And I hope that we can carry on the conversations you've been having here down the street there a little bit for a couple of drinks very shortly. So thank you very much. Oh, yes, I hope the same people next year. Yeah. And your friends. And the competition will be harder next year too. So, okay, thank you very much and enjoy the afternoon.